Alright, this is the 1-year review of the tank. As you can see, I've added this smaller tank on the side, which is supposed to be housing some mangrove trees. However, the first few I put in ended up dying. Turns out they were not acclimated to the salt water, at least I think that's what the problem was. But I got a couple of sexy shrimp in here, and a fathead nendro, which has been doing very well. I feed it every other day. The main tank's coming along nicely. Overall, I'm very happy with how it's turned out. I've had a few issues. I've had some aptasia, which I tried multiple things. Bergia nudibranch, which I feel like my Melanaris wrasse mostly just ate. And then a large peppermint shrimp, which did a pretty good job, but he ended up passing away. And then 3 smaller peppermint shrimp, which took care of the rest of the aptasia, except for any large ones, which I treat with the Frank's F aptasia. The next thing I dealt with was a combination of red cyano and green hair algae. I tried for months to just kind of ignore the cyano and hope it would get better, because everybody says if you just leave it, it'll go away. But it did not. It went probably 5 months before I said, forget this, and started using the red slime remover, and that cleared it right up, and I haven't had a sign of it since. For the hair algae, I tried the natural method first, so I added snails, 2 different urchins, I got tangs, algae blennies, but none of it really seemed to slow the growth. My phosphates were never above 0.06, and nitrates were never above 5, so I decided I'd had enough and did a similar thing to the by using chemicals, and I used the Flux RX to get rid of it, and then I used GFO to keep it away, and it's been like that for a couple of months now, and it's looking great. I have a couple of livestock changes since my last video. I had to get rid of my chromis because he was starting to attack the other fish and become aggressive. My Melanaris wrasse passed away unexpectedly. He was swimming around like normal 1 minute, and then I looked in the tank an hour or 2 later, and he was belly up, so I'm not really sure what happened there. None of the other fish were affected. Really strange. I ended up adding a leopard wrasse, and he is probably one of my new favorite fish. He swims all over the tank, he's active, friendly, and eats like a pig. The last thing I've added is a baby hippo tank, which is either going to force me to upgrade the tank in a year or 2, or I have a friend with a much larger tank that I can always give them to. There was a short period of time where I got a little relaxed with my testing, and my salinity got all the way up to 1.027 before I tested it and brought it back down over the next week or so. At the same time, I ended up installing a new dosing pump and spiked my alk from 6.5 to 12 in a single day. Needless to say, I had a lot of die-off with my SPS, mostly my acropora. They didn't completely die, I'd lost 25 to 50% of some of the colonies, but they ended up pulling through, which is good. It's been about 2 months since then, and they're almost completely colored back up. So one of my favorite things to see in most people's videos is growth rates on corals, because I always found it hard to judge how much growth you should be getting. So I did that. This guy here, this is when I first added it to the tank versus now. It's been about 12 months. Same for this one. I already had a pretty good sized colony going. This is one of the ones that had some die-off. You can see at the base. The fastest grower in the tank, I would say, or maybe a close second, is this green Slimer. The monopore was a bit brighter when I first got it, you can see, but it grew a lot. Favia, this is the only Favia I've ever had grow, so it's doing pretty well. This is one of the corals I ordered online. Pretty good growth, but there's another one from the same exact order after 9 months, no growth. Nice little red dragon there, that's about 6 months growth. And this is another really fast grower. There's a good side shot of the tank when it first started versus now, and the front shot, which I think really shows how much it's come since the beginning. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching how far the tank has come, and I will try and keep updating every few months, making some new videos of the tank and see how it progresses. And I'll just leave with a little bit of bonus footage here at the end.